The quote spiritual opening is not a withdrawal to some imagined realm or safe cave. It is not a pulling away but a touching of all the experience of life with wisdom and with a heart of kindness without any separation, expresses a profound understanding of what genuine spiritual awakening truly means. Many people assume that spirituality requires retreating from the world, escaping the chaos of life, or isolating oneself from difficult experiences. Yet this quote challenges that assumption by presenting a deeper vision of spiritual growth, one that is not about avoidance but about presence, not about escape but about engagement. Spiritual awakening in this sense is not an act of leaving life behind. It is the art of entering life more fully. It is the cultivation of a consciousness that can meet every moment, pleasant or painful, with clarity, compassion, and wisdom. Rather than withdrawing from the complexities of existence, spiritual opening invites us to encounter them directly with an open heart. Throughout history, spirituality has often been associated with images of solitude and withdrawal. We imagine monks in remote monasteries, sages meditating in mountain caves, or seekers abandoning worldly life in pursuit of enlightenment. While solitude can indeed play an important role in spiritual practice, the quote reminds us that isolation alone does not define spiritual realization. True spiritual growth does not occur only in quiet places removed from human interaction. It unfolds in the midst of daily life in conversations, conflicts, relationships, responsibilities, and ordinary moments. Life itself becomes the field in which awareness, compassion, and wisdom are cultivated. To understand this idea more deeply, it is helpful to consider why many people believe that spirituality requires withdrawal. The world can often feel overwhelming. Modern life is filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands on our attention. In such an environment, the desire to retreat into a safe and peaceful space is understandable. People may imagine that spiritual awakening involves escaping the pressures of everyday life. They envision a state of calm where nothing disturbs the mind and no challenges arise. In this imagined scenario, peace is achieved by avoiding the difficulties of existence. However, this approach creates a fragile kind of peace. If tranquility depends on perfect conditions, it can easily be disrupted. The moment conflict, uncertainty, or suffering appears, the sense of calm disappears. Spiritual maturity, on the other hand, involves developing a peace that remains stable even in the presence of difficulty. It is the ability to remain centered while fully participating in life. The quote emphasizes that spiritual opening is a touching of all the experience of life. This phrase suggests a deep intimacy with reality. Instead of resisting or rejecting certain aspects of life, spiritual awareness embraces the full spectrum of human experience. Joy and sorrow, success and failure, comfort and discomfort, all of these become part of the spiritual path. Each experience provides an opportunity to cultivate understanding and compassion. When individuals attempt to avoid certain emotions or situations, they create division within themselves. They label some experiences as acceptable and others as unacceptable. This division often leads to internal conflict. Spiritual awareness dissolves this division by allowing experiences to arise without immediate judgment or rejection. It recognizes that every emotion and event contains something to learn from. For example, anger may reveal unresolved pain, fear may indicate a need for courage, sadness may open the heart to deeper empathy for others. By touching these experiences with wisdom and kindness, individuals transform them into sources of growth. Wisdom plays a crucial role in this process. Wisdom is not merely intellectual knowledge, it is the ability to see clearly. It allows individuals to understand the causes of their reactions and recognize the deeper patterns shaping their lives. When wisdom is present, people are less likely to become overwhelmed by temporary emotions or circumstances. They understand that experiences are constantly changing and that no feeling is permanent. This perspective creates space between awareness and reaction. Instead of immediately responding with anger, fear, or avoidance, individuals can pause and observe what is happening within them. Kindness is the other essential element mentioned in the quote. Wisdom without kindness can become cold or detached. Kindness ensures that spiritual awareness remains compassionate and humane. A heart of kindness allows individuals to approach both themselves and others with patience and understanding. Instead of condemning mistakes or imperfections, they respond with empathy. This compassion extends beyond personal relationships. It includes a sense of connection with all forms of life. Spiritual awakening often deepens awareness of the interconnectedness of existence. When people recognize this interconnectedness, the boundaries between self and others begin to soften. The suffering of another person no longer feels distant or irrelevant. It becomes something that touches the heart directly. This sense of connection is what the quote refers to when it speaks of without any separation. Separation is one of the most persistent illusions of the human mind. It manifests as the belief that we are isolated individuals competing against one another. In reality, human lives are deeply interconnected. Our actions affect others in ways we may never fully see. Every act of kindness, patience, or generosity contributes to the well-being of the larger community. Spiritual awakening involves recognizing this interconnectedness and allowing it to guide our actions. Rather than withdrawing from the world, spiritually awakened individuals often become more engaged in helping others. Their awareness of suffering motivates them to act with compassion. Service, therefore, becomes a natural expression of spiritual understanding. Helping others is not seen as an obligation, but as an extension of one's own humanity. This perspective transforms everyday activities into opportunities for spiritual practice. Listening attentively to a friend, offering support during difficult times, or showing patience in moments of frustration all become ways of expressing kindness and awareness. Even ordinary tasks, working, cooking, walking, or speaking, can become expressions of mindfulness when performed with presence and intention. Another important aspect of spiritual opening is the ability to remain present with discomfort. Many people instinctively avoid situations that create emotional pain, yet growth often requires confronting difficult truths. For instance, acknowledging personal mistakes can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary for learning. Facing grief can be painful, but it deepens our understanding of love and loss. By approaching these experiences with wisdom and kindness, individuals transform pain into insight. This process does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending that suffering does not exist. On the contrary, it involves allowing emotions to be fully felt while maintaining awareness. This balanced approach prevents emotions from becoming overwhelming. Awareness acts as a stabilizing presence that holds the experience without being consumed by it. Meditation and mindfulness practices can help cultivate this quality of awareness. These practices train the mind to observe thoughts and feelings without immediate reaction. Over time, this observation develops into a deeper understanding of how the mind operates. Individuals begin to recognize habitual patterns of thinking and reacting. With this awareness, they gain the freedom to respond differently. Instead of repeating old patterns, they can choose actions aligned with wisdom and compassion. Spiritual opening also encourages authenticity. When individuals stop trying to escape certain aspects of life, they become more honest with themselves. They acknowledge their fears, desires, and imperfections without denial. This honesty creates a foundation for genuine transformation. Authenticity also strengthens relationships. When people interact without pretense or judgment, trust and understanding deepen. The absence of separation mentioned in the quote also refers to the dissolution of the boundary between spiritual life and ordinary life. Many people believe that spirituality exists only during prayer, meditation, or religious rituals. However, genuine spiritual awareness permeates every aspect of life. It influences how we think, speak, and act in everyday situations. Spirituality becomes less about special moments and more about continuous presence. This integration creates a sense of harmony. Life no longer feels divided between sacred and ordinary experiences. Every moment becomes an opportunity for awareness and compassion. Ultimately, the quote reminds us that spiritual awakening is not about escaping the world, but about embracing it with greater clarity and kindness. It invites us to engage fully with life's joys and sorrows, successes and failures, without losing our sense of connection. Through wisdom, we see the deeper patterns within experience. Through kindness, we respond with compassion toward ourselves and others. And through the dissolution of separation, We discover that spiritual growth is not something that happens apart from life, it happens within it. By touching every moment with awareness and compassion, we transform ordinary experience into a path of awakening. In doing so, we realize that spirituality is not found in withdrawal from life, but in the wholehearted participation in it.